Hello there and welcome to the evening news at 6 on Adoatv. The evening news is brought to you by Adoatv Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and Verna Mineral Water. My name is Benedicta Dodu. Remember, we're also streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv Ghana. In our headlines for tonight, President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the Phase 2 of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant. According to the President, the project will not only curb waste in Accra, but also create employment. Also, the IGP has visited Tamale over the death of 2 police officers which happened yesterday. And today, rapper Medical appeared before court after his arrest in the late hours of Thursday, October 21st. We find out what Ghanaians make of his arrest and we'll bring you more details shortly. And in business, government has been encouraged to sell some of the nation's assets to help the economy. We will be bringing you details of these stories and more in this bulletin. Now, moving on to our first story, President Akufo-Addo has commissioned the second phase of the compost and recycling plant at Ajim Kotoku.
Akufo-Addo commissioned the Phase 2 of the 20 million plant financed by Josbo Group and its partners to increase the existing facility from 600 tons of waste per day to 200 tons of waste per day. The project will provide metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies within the Greater Accra metropolitan area a viable and cost-effective alternative to dump sites. It will also increase the plant's capacity to bridge the existing gap of untreated solid waste within the Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly. The project includes modern teaching and learning facilities as well as ultra-modern laboratories for training and research into modern effective processing and recycling technologies. President Akufo-Addo commissioned the project on the first day of his 3-day working tour of the Greater Accra region. He explained that the expansion has become necessary due to the increased urbanization in major cities.
The first phase of the Accra Compost and Recycling Plant has a 600 ton per day capacity to receive salt and produce high-quality organic compost for agricultural and agronomical activities, as well as other recyclable products such as plastics, paper, metal scraps for both domestic and international markets. As a result of increased urbanization, particularly in our major cities, the capacity of current plant cannot cope with the increased municipal solid waste generated daily within the city of Accra. It is for this reason the Jospon Group and partners with support from government embarked on expanding the existing facility from 600 tons per day to 2,000 tons per day. Phase 2 of the plant is well equipped with modern teaching and learning facilities, as well as ultra-modern laboratories for training and research into modern, effective processing and recycling technologies. The completion of this facility will bring immense benefits to manage effectively and efficiently the increased solid waste in a more environmentally friendly and sustainable manner. Furthermore, the plant will create jobs, both direct and indirect. Before I conclude, let me stress the government will continue to create the enabling environment for the private sector to thrive. Government will also continue to collaborate with the private sector in the provision of an infrastructure to accelerate the socio-economic development of the country. That is why my government is collaborating with Jospon Group of Company and partners to implement the integrated recycling and compost plants in all the 16 regions of the country.
He indicated that The disposal of solid waste has remained a challenge, especially in urban areas, creating the numerous sanitation challenges confronting the nation. The president added that in some countries, integrated waste management had been adopted as a critical intervention in the management of municipal solid waste.
Ladies and gentlemen, the disposal of solid waste management has remained a challenge, especially in the urban areas of this country, creating the numerous sanitation challenges confronting our nation. Elsewhere, integrated waste management has been adopted as one critical intervention in the management of municipal solid waste. However, the establishment of an efficient integrated waste management facility requires huge financial outlay, and with the competing needs of other sectors of the economy on the government budget, it has become increasingly difficult for government alone to shoulder this responsibility. It is for this reason that on assumption of office, my government made a commitment to address this menace, to transform Ghana to be one of the cleanest countries in Africa. In this regard, government has taken the requisite steps to create the enabling environment and framework for the private sector to partner government in finding solutions to this Herculean challenge. It is important also to note that as a result of the huge capital requirement to establish infrastructure for the management of solid waste, most private sector players have been reluctant to enter into this space. I'm glad and fortunate that Just One Group and partners have had the courage and spirit of enterprise to enter this space, to partner government, to assist us in addressing the sanitation situation.
The executive chairman of Jospong Group of Companies, Mr. Joseph Siawe Japan, disclosed that the project was made possible with the support of partners Lubo Recycling System of the Netherlands.
The Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, has visited Tamale over the injury of some police officers who were involved in a fatal car accident on the Wale-Wale-Bolgatanga Road. Nuruddin Ibrahim, our Northern Regional Correspondent, has more.
Dr. George Akufu-Dampare, the Inspector General of Police, has visited Tamale over the death of 2 police officers and the injury of 3. The officers were involved in a fatal accident on the Wale-Wale-Bolgatanga Road. 2 of the officers died at the Bolgatanga Government Hospital, while 3 are still in critical conditions and have since been airlifted to the nation's capital on the directive of the IGP. A short ceremony has been held at the Tamale Airport for the 2 officers who died before their remains were airlifted to the nation's capital. Addressing journalists on behalf of the IGP after the ceremony, the Northern Regional Crime Officer of Police, Superintendent Baba Ananga, said the 5 officers were responding to a distress call last night when the sudden incident occurred. According to him, the IGP's visit has boosted their morale because personnel in the region were down over the accident. He said investigations are underway to interview the cause of the accident.
Early on, he facilitated the evacuation of 3 victims of this accident. They were flown to Accra somewhere around, that is the afternoon, and later on facilitated the transportation of the mortal remains of our departed souls. 2 persons lost their lives in this unfortunate accident, and ceremony was held in honor of them. They are heroes within the service. They died fighting for Mother Ghana. They came here to assist the command of the Northeast as well as the Northern regions in fighting armed robbery. And the unfortunate incident occurred when they had a distress call and were responding. that this fatal accident happened. The Inspector General of Police, the IGP, deemed it fit to come in, and he arrived here this morning around 7:30 a.m. and had been on his feet up to this particular time. We have been encouraged by his support. We have been boosted in terms of our morale. We're down after the accidents that occurred. However, you can see that personnel are up and doing once more, and we are on our feet. We will not give up. We are rather resilient, as the Inspector General of Police encouraged us. Postmortem will be conducted, and then the report will be communicated to the next of kin before we then give it out to the general public. We are looking at survived. As at yesterday, two of them remain critical. Doctors did their best, as well as the paramedics, and subsequently one gained his consciousness and also was evacuated.
Still on the IGP, a section of Ghanaians are of the candid view that Charles Ni Amamensah, otherwise known as Shatawale in the showbiz circle, should be prosecuted or most suitably made to serve jail term to prove that no one is really above the law. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the story, news broke out on Monday, 18th October, that the artist has been shot, after which it was later proven that the incident was allegedly false. He was declared wanted not too long after, and he turned himself in. He was arraigned before court on Thursday, 21st October, where he pleaded not guilty. The rest is in the next report filed by Wilson Emmanuel.
On Tuesday, October 19, 2021, Charles Ni Amamensah, popularly known as Shatawale, was arrested on the counts of causing fear and panic over an alleged gunshot attack on him in his East Legon house here in Accra. He was to appear before court on 21st of October 2021, which he did, and pled not guilty with 3 others who claim they are not guilty, as Shatawale equally said. Fast forward to later that day, Shatawale's BFF, AMG Medical, was equally arrested for brandishing weapons on his social media platform. After his arrest, social media fans and followers were quick to point out the similarities between the two allegations. Others were of the view that Medical intentionally brandished weapons so that he will be arrested, as from the look of things, Shatawale may or may not be granted bail. And so if he's going to jail, he might as well go with his friend. Why do I say this? Shatawale not too long ago ostentated a tattoo on his shoulder showing an inscription of Medical on his shoulder, a clear indication of the solidarity between the two people. That is the reason why people think that Medical intentionally did this so that his friend and brother and him might face the law together, since they are in the war together. What better way to solicit the ideas of people than to go to a place densely populated with people with mixed reaction? A place like Cantamanto is a typical place that when you go, you will find diverse opinions. But to my surprise, when I got to Cantamanto today, I found out that most people were singing a similar tune, the tune of justice. Justice because they felt that this is the point where equality before the law becomes relevant. Others were of the opinion that if Shatawale has been arrested, it meant that everyone could be arrested. Others equally thought that his arrest probably is because everybody wants to make fun. Others too have been quick to point out the good work of the current Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Ekufu-Dampare. Let's take a look at the reactions of people.
Because we high in tea, or say, yes, a Ghana no one do no, and so Ghana will be by and son or no day, Ebeba. And to intimate, say, oh, don't, the answer, I'm running so a day, I will mind him. nti obi nso nsene emra no nti sɛ woso sene mmara no deɛ a ɛne ɛne wobɛtumi ayɛ dɛ wopɛ
nti wafa mu a ɛkwan na
ɛkwan no deɛ mmara no nam so no ana ɛdɛ ɔmde afa no agp no ebi mu aba wei ne wɔbaeɛ no adwuma a wɔyɛ no mea ɛsɔ m'ani deɛ ntam ka sɛ ɛsɔ m'ani sɛ ɛnyɛ sɛ bi a wɔde n'ani ahwɛ sɛ ebi a mpp na ayi no nti ɛna wɔhyɛ da yɛ saa ɔno wɔyɛ adwuma no fɔ ɔman ghana nti ɔman no mu na wɔyɛ adwuma no afa nti mmara no se no ɛna wɔde fa nti obi nso nna mɛdi kankan sɛ obi nso nsene mmara no nti wɔn sɛ woyɛ ne tia ghana mmara nko adeɛ sɛ ɔde fa mmara kwan no so no nti ɔno wɔyɛ ndɛ mebɔ n'aba so papapapa wɔyɛ adeɛ papapapa because mɛdi kan kora te sɛ petrolfoɔ no ɛkɔ kora mpo a otimi ɔno asɛ panyini no kora otimi ka ho bi ɛna ɔmo tu anamaw because ɔpɔman no yie ɛm sɛ wɔamfane ne nsi fam ɔman no sɛ na manfoɔ ɛbɔ ɔman no akyi no ɛm sɛ ɔman no bɛdi adimbɔne nti ɔno nso tumi yɛ adwuma no ma mmara no tumi yɛ adwuma a ɛm sɛ meankasa mepene so baa
police the right akyiri shatter because the wɔyɛ no yɛankye no a me a mete ha yi meso mɛpractice sɛ mɛyɛ biribi yɛnkye me na ɔman no ne yɛsɛe no because wohwɛ Ghana nsɛm bi wɔtumi si wɔyɛ musician na wakɔ create biribi yes o wɔyɛ biribi nti wei de yɛngyaa no pose or fans bi yɛngyaa no na ɛkɔ so bɛmehwɛ saa man a yɛapaw no sɛ ɔnyɛ adwuma wɔ Ghana asisi a na IGP no yes ɔbɔ adwuma but yɛnim IGP fo bi ba ya no almost beginning no mo bɔ adwuma no saa but the koduru baabi no ɔmate ada so bɛyɛ sɛ afei yɛapaw foforɔ nti woyɛ biribi a obi ahu sɛ woyɛ biribi bɛsɛ sɛ adwuma wɔbɔ no ɛsɔ yɛ nipa meka sɛ excuse sɛ ɛyɛ nkwase asɛm na wɔdi no because ɛnyɛ me ordinary person a meteɛ na mekɔkyee shata ɛna mede no akɔsie ɛna abɛkyerɛ ɛtu ama kɔyi no aba ɛyɛ aban no na akye no wafom mmara ɛna aban akye no nti aka sɛ wɔkɔkyerɛ tuo no ade kɔɔ hɔ no wɔma wɔ hɔ no ɔmo wɔdeɛ dɔɔso kyɛɛ wɔdeɛ no ade kɔɔ hɔ no ɛna ɔmo san wɔ papa kyɛn deɛ ɔde baa hɔ no so saa ne yɛbɛka no so wɔkyerɛ wɔ ha wɔakyerɛ no obiara hu nti ɛyɛ ade a wɔahyɛ onje sɛ ɔno no ɔmo kye no na ɔmo yire no ɛna ɛyɛ mmea sɛ ɔmo yɛ ne sei no ɔmo bɛbɛ yɛsɛ yɛtwa sika ama no enipa nso sika wotwa ama no no wɔ obetua so ɔho nika ba sei na yɛde ne ba no yɛm ma no 50 years a anka ɔman no bɛyɛ sirens so me ma dwen kyerɛ me wɔ ho no nka ba sei no nko wɔbɛba no yɛntwa sika bi ma no yɛamma years wokɔtwa years na afɔ bia bɛyɛ steady ɛhu sɛ enipa wɔ ekura na ɔde ne ho no yɛamma no years nti me no menkɔyɛ ebi kura na me ameni bi no mekɔyɛ me de bɛdɔso akyɛ nti menkɔyɛ na ma ɔman na yɛ peace
nsɛm ɛkɔkɔ so no deɛ like me nima de kontia like shata ɔma bibi sa happen say like yɛn shoot no yɛ na ɔde aba social media sɛ yɛ shoot no on say like ɔyɛ sa we put him mama yɛ ɔman ni nia so nti deɛ ɔyɛ ne deɛ me to me ne deɛ sɛ nka ɔmo ntwe na so kakra ɛsɛ ɔmo ntumi ma ne ntem kakra no fanya adesua de na yɛ nia nso yɛ adesua de ma yɛ nia me su sɛ mmara ne yɛ adwuma sɛ mmara ne yɛ adwuma me like me yɛ sure sɛ bibi sa betumi happy wɔ my way most bibi sa
do shata a public opinion person but to the normal point any kwan sanka or reach to that far say obe claim say abonitu I don't know me claim say ebia the perfume more at that kind of brand no ho foreign like America mo amount for be ho so omoko prisoner but stay na no mo film na stay strong but me gidi say bia no so betimi aboa me gidi say bia on say medical so ye shata e nadamfo bia no so boa ma no so o dey claim say o claim alert say dey ma youth no and I say bia o che say best friend nti no bia yan chi no so nyina ye friend a ye move on ne bia o munyi yen Samuel I think said o ye adwuma because when yes amount for to me farm run to me be on pebia or because say omo sika well sometimes Ghana say emra bi wo ha yan cheda en value no especially ya any bi no due to say ye ni skanti no by what you say either say we sika o ni sika o emra bi to me dey agrepo what she's doing here very good pa.
Reporting for Adoa News, my name is Emmanuel Wilson.
Recently, going to a pharmacy and complaining about a condition is quite normal. However, research has proven that this act is one of the contributing factors of drug abuse. How true this is, Esther Ankra has more in the next report.
Self-medication refers to the practice of individual using available medications or substances to treat self-diagnosed symptoms or conditions. In general, the practice of self-medication applies to any ailment or condition that a person may treat without the help of a healthcare professional. This includes minor injuries or illnesses such as the common cold. Unfortunately, many people who are living from more serious health conditions, particularly mental health conditions, turn to self-medication as an alternative to seeking appropriate care. Potential risks of self-medicating serious health conditions include incorrect self-diagnosis, increased risks of drug or supplement interactions, incorrect choice of therapy, and risks of independent abuse. Traditionally, some people take in herbs or home remedies on their own initiative or on the advice of another person without consulting a doctor. Self-medication is a regular practice as it is a form of self-care of our health. Self-medication of minor injuries and minor illnesses helps reduce the overall burden on the healthcare system, and it is a common practice in our country. Dangers and risks with self-medication are when people turn to self-medication when trying to treat more serious health conditions, such as mental health conditions that require appropriate intervention from a medical professional, rather than consulting a doctor to receive a proper diagnosis and medical treatment. Many people use supplements and other substances, sometimes drugs and alcohol, to try to cope with the symptoms they are experiencing. This practice can result in improper treatment of symptoms and conditions, as well as potentially cause new conditions such as substance use disorders or addiction. Self-medication of mental health conditions with substances is generally accepted as having very limited benefit in treating the condition and may potentially worsen the symptoms. However, to the person who is self-medicating, the typical rationale may not apply. There is a vast array of reasons why someone may decide to self-medicate with substances in order to cope with their symptoms of mental health conditions. Although the exact reason is very specific to an individual situation, there are some commonly understood reasons, including the cost of medical treatment, including doctor visits and medications, fear of seeking treatment due to perceived negative stigmas, hiding or denying a condition, inefficient medications used for treatment in the past, and the fear of side effects from medications. Speaking to Ms. Tracy Asamoah, a mental health nurse, about self-medication and its implications, she had this to say.
Self-medication is the way or the act by which an individual would use a drug for physical or psychological illness and not prescribed by a doctor or a physician. People self-medicate when they feel they know what is actually wrong with them without any lab investigations, because they look at the signs and symptoms and conclude that maybe this is malaria. So they feel that I don't have to go to the hospital to join the long queue to get the folder and all those stress involved when you get to the hospital. So it just results to the drugs I see being advertised on TV. Yes, and you can even experience some side effects of the drug. But since you just bought it from the pharmacy or any over-the-counter pharmacy, maybe they might not really tell you about the side effects. And before you prescribe a drug, we need to know your weight, in fact, your vitals, to know if the drug will be good for you. So somebody will be asked to take paracetamol for headache. Another person will be asked to take Panadol for headache. So with the side effects, now you know there's a delay in seeking the appropriate medical care because you have self-treated yourself. Probably what you are suspecting is not what your lab results will show. So the delay would probably make your condition worse.
To avoid the risks of self-medication, which includes incorrect self-diagnosis, delays in seeking appropriate medical advice and proper treatment, potential adverse reactions, worsening of the conditions the individual is trying to self-treat, dangerous drug interaction, masking of severe diseases, and risks of independence and abuse, Tracy advised the general public to seek medical assistance when ill.
My advice to all of us is we shouldn't self-medicate. I know at a point probably minor pains will result to painkillers, that's okay. But if you know you have a condition that is extremely worse and has persisted for days, it's best you go to the hospital, see a doctor, run the necessary labs so that you can just be given prescribed medications.
Now, white bentonite clay, locally known as Ailo or Chile, has been a local biscuit to most people, especially pregnant women, to quench their turbulent craves. Now, the bentonite clay is mostly produced in the Volta region in a village in Pando and distributed to the various market centers in Ghana. Our reporter, Kate Coleman, has the rest of the story.
White bentonite clay, which is dug deeply underground in a village in Pando in the Volta region of Ghana, is grinded into fine powdered form and processed into bentonite clay, locally known as Ailo or Chile. This is eaten by both the young and the old. Research tells that it is for a medicinal purpose, but both the young and the old misuse its function by eating it as snack or a dessert. Speaking to Auntie Zifa, she tells us where she gets the white bentonite clay to do her work.
Quando kasakasa o kromo friend no amfoega
na pacho when born no dey and how does it look like at the same
born o mutu ofom electric pole betumi akọ down say 2 and 3 no makọ 2.
She tells us the process of making the Ailo or Chile, which is popularly called.
First, a view or say, a business say, and a business say. You can take it near ton 8, 10 pesos. It's here near ton 4, 10 pesos. I can say 4, 20 pesos. We size we a ton 4, 10 pesos. Who had I we are
She again explains what the bentonite clay does in terms of health benefits and also states reasons why pregnant women eat it as well, but says eating too much of it is very bad.
Afra, no be a bear picture. I found your winning.
But also at the diarrhea.
We are sound in Chiricacra.
Now, chancing on a preacher in the morning these days in Ghana is very normal. These preachers have come under attack for being extortionists and sometimes fraudsters. Nonetheless, they have equally made various impacts in society, as some people have argued that these men of God have a way to speak to one's soul. How true this is, Jacqueline of Other News embarked on a search to find out if this is a means to make an ends meet or genuinely to win souls for God.
Markets in Accra are one of the places where preachers in training hone their craft. They mostly organize themselves into shifts or preach simultaneously at the market square, either relying on the unaided projection of their voice or using amplification equipment to spread their message. Periodically, during the day, markets are filled with a cacophony of sounds, vehicle engines, loudspeakers blasting to make market-wide announcements. And traders calling to potential customers. One sound overwhelms all others. One may ask, How effective is this evangelism method? Under the Ghana Environmental Protection Agency EPA Act of 1994 Act 490 mandates the EPA to prescribe standards and guidelines relating to the noise in the country. The bylaws provides that no person conducting a religious service shall play any music or allow any music to be played at the service so loudly as to cause disturbances. This bylaw is against public preaching or playing of religious audio and video cassettes with messages of evangelism in nature, all for the purpose of propagating the religion at the central business area. The penalty for default is fine of 2 Ghana cedis a term or imprisonment, not exceeding 3 months. If one is found to be a persistent offender, he will be liable to an additional 1 Ghana cedi. Some Ghanaians shared divergent opinion about the market preacher and the sound. Apostle Enoch shares reason why they engage in the act, despite knowing it goes against the laws of the country.
You are going to preach. Maybe sometimes you want to do the preaching in the market, and because of a lot of noises over there, you need some machines aside that can help you so that it can echo whatever that you want to preach. Oh, we know it's against the law, but we are working for the Lord. You understand what I mean? But mostly that's why I said mostly that is because we bring in the system because of the noise over there, so that people too can. But where there's no noise, you can do it without even what. Because let me tell you something. Going to the market, we have a lot of people that they don't have time for services and other things because of the work that they do. So we normally go to the market so that they too can receive. Do you understand what I mean? Something more for their this. That's why we mostly go to the market to minister to them, and they also appreciate it when you go to the market to minister to them.
Speaking to some market women to find out if the town preaching evangelism distracts their business, this was what they had to say.
I'm in faking me, make my own number charming. Nay, I make a postsuma, I may have you no more. A war, a second more bed, not postsuma, a honey. There be a chimney bed. A jacket come if you be, and I mean, you be Baba. Oh, lay, or suffer a problem inside. I can software, I mean, Chanum. Nina, and you might tell a don't go me, oh, what to me inside there, or suffer problem. No, I cannot back with a suffer. Pampo no principal e bana eni omumi aka osofo eni onyumo cha aka osofo fake mi nya mabo kunta le ekenyumo ten sani no ni wonu le ekenyumo ten sani mi nya makojole no le ekenyumo ten sani mi aka osofo jibo no chanyumo opo masha fole mabu.
Samuel Alabiga, however, calls on the government to speak to town preachers who uses loud sound system.
No ni ya no. Lobana gechi kemo ba e correction bowl e machine. Ni correction bowl ni machine. No ni no na towaji aba haleshika. Ko okwa message ni mepi ho ba na gechi e be message ni ji salvation message ke ha public moko mfeso mono ka me jeshika shika na me ke wo me o encourage your me o mo ni me hu amefi ojindo be ko ye other gate amen play meneke position place here meneke o mi ba shi e bi eneke meneke mi ba shi e bi e je noko shika ya no le ko kwega amen disturb ni agbene we ko kwe systems na me use wo ena gwachon ewo ina no ni oni AMAB allow na kanie be pie ke won fe meeting wo station e ke fie won mo solio of your morning devotion a problem in how, but I want to pay now. I'm a sound system, I'm a honey bashing. No about you, no about what a meeting, no about any what you more, any no going to go for more. Ni an hour, or about a maybe a fight. Now I'm a bomber dagashi. I'm a system, blow more abashi. Ke ocean, you want to one in the machine in your here, Mike. She can be sharing you at least. Nimishia can use some baby, use some market, me banu, no need to market and a banu. Or on Pafai, government there, okay, I will.
This is the evening news at 6 on Adoa TV. We'll be right back with more news. Do stay with us.
You beat cancer by how you live, why you live, and the manner in which you live. I am Priscilla Sewamenu, Miss Health Ghana 2020. The month October is noted for breast cancer awareness, and this October, Sonotech Ghana is partnering with Miss Health Ghana to bring you breast cancer awareness campaign dubbed Pink It Out. So from the 1st to 31st October, Sonotech Ghana is offering free breast screening for all women out there. Plus, you get 20% off mammogram and 50% off ultrasound scan if you need one at any of their branches. The campaign is on. Join the campaign, support women, encourage women to come for screening, and support women living with breast cancer. On this note, I will entreat all my sisters out there to come detect it, treat it, and defeat it, because early detection saves life. Thank you.
CB will make up now. I'm not correct. Why your best mankasa? That's it. You want oh, middle. You captures back on CB men capsules. You see, CB men capsules and make a year.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You knew the dada. And 1 year packaging I have a
wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no more than any Biansan Wako.
Share a painful, any about town, Mount Padano for any Padano and come home.
Susanna, Ghana man, man, Tamasi.
Dodo Afre 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA adi ededin kato yato.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564 Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Thanks for staying with us. On to some business updates now. The Director of Business Operations at Delex Finance, Joe Jackson, has urged the government to take drastic measures and sell off some state assets to increase revenue mobilization ahead of the 2022 budget presentation, since the country's economy is not in good shape. He spoke to my colleague, Nanyama Collison.
Remember, we've just come through COVID. So we've come through a very, very tough time. It will not be fixed in a year. So things are still tough, albeit they are improving. Right? So you ask me about how the economy is doing, I'll tell you, things are tough, but they're improving. Now, with respect to the budget, we want to see what the government will do long term to reduce the borrowing and to raise revenue. We can't just keep borrowing. One of the things I want to see happen is that the government to sell off some of the state assets. Some of the big stakes in some of the companies must be sold so that the revenue requirement for next year will drop a bit. Right? And there are some hard decisions we have to take. What I'm looking for is a budget where we take the hard decisions and we tell the Ghanaian public that you can't have everything that you want. That this country is at the moment, after years of mismanagement and COVID, the country is broke. It is broke. And so you've got to get to the point where when you are broke, you sit down with the members of the family and you say, we are in a crisis, so this is what we are going to do.
Speaking on taxation, Mr. Jackson said,
we need to take off some of the consumption taxes to boost growth. Yet at the same time, we need to raise more taxes by taxing the wealthy, taxing the rich. So what I'm hoping will happen is that some of the consumption taxes on fuel, on the voice and data will go off or will be reduced. And they will be replaced by taxes that may be harder to collect, but will be targeted at the rich and wealthy. For example, a property tax, a national property tax.
He also touched on high interest rates.
Well, the two things that you've got to understand. There's only a pot of money to be given out as loans. If the government takes the biggest share, there's very little left for everybody else, because the government is almost restless. So long as the government keeps borrowing at the rate at which it is borrowing, the private sector will not see enough funds. If you want to see the private sector have more access to funds, please reduce the borrowing of the government.
My final one, maybe this might not be to you, but to the organizers. I have attended programs, seminars like this, conferences like this. When we talk about most of the things that we need to do, government have to do, stakeholders have to take steps to do, we end up talking and living and going without any implication. What's your thoughts on we coming on conferences like this, talk and leave, and we see no results in the actual census?
Well, first of all, if we don't talk about it, we can't even start to solve it. So talking about it is a good first step. And the Ghana Economic Forum has a better record at getting government to listen than the other events that I've been involved in. So we are hopeful. You can't force the government to listen. You can't force the economic managers to listen. You can't force the authorities and the regulators to do anything. You can only hope that when a reputable event sends memorandum to them, they will listen to it.
General Secretary of the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, Mr. Samuel Atu-Agwe, has stated that Ghana's production environment should be free for people to invest for local producers to benefit, affirming that things produced here in Ghana could help curtail importation of goods from elsewhere, stressing that it has become a challenge between the association and government.
Even when you are bringing your machinery, if you are not given exemption, you have to pay the full cost of duty. That when you are able to set up, you can deduct that from your taxes. Though no country does that. Our environment should be free for people to be able to invest. Because once you set up the factory, what that means is that you are employing the local people. You might bring one or two expertise from outside, but largely it's the local people who benefits. You pay your taxes to the government.
Labor market.
Everything is within the country, you see. So we look at that, all these things, and then we say, fine, in which way do I want to continue if I want to invest in that area? Then it's better I import, because some people would want to bring in bits and pieces of this and of that. The things that we are producing in this country, some of them we've been able to stop the import of those products. And gradually we'll stop the others too. And this is a challenge that is between the association and the government that we have to take up to ensure that these things are done to the benefit of the local producers. So if you are seeing some beverages on the market, it's because these things will have to come in, whatever the costs. And if you have to pay a little more to ensure that the local industry also succeeds, then we have to do that. But sometimes we find the local produce being sold at a very expensive price, even than what is coming in. It's because of the production end. Because by the time you finish producing, the cost has already built up. And therefore, when you are importing, it makes it cheaper. So what you can see sometimes on the market, most of these manufacturers themselves, what they do is that they have one or two lines that they also import because they have other plants outside. So if it happens that they need this particular product, they bring it into the system and sell alongside what they have. But all in all, what I would advocate is that the atmosphere should be created for us to be able to invest in production, local production. When we are able to do that, I tell you, these imports will be reduced. Will be because we can't have a country where you don't import anything. Something must be imported.
That's it for business. We'll be right back with sports.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emil's Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Malaria and tea. Malaria there for you. Enti awo. Ashire the customers. When you say Mammy, I smart. Apa CB Malakio. I'm man the buyer or the eco school. Share. Say a Janisi berry market ni malaria and tea. I want me. And now Emma when we are out to walk. So we have malaria test. Maybe one. And try better one. And the CB Malakio. You do not. And now I can't bomb as soon as I CB Malakio. And no way so there. And I don't grow. And yet that shit. A drawing near my appeal for. About a woman for. Any quada won't feed me. Susiana. What would you with FD Ashusha Sa a JD and Crato Imu Aja to Musa.
Time for some sports updates now. And Andy Murray suffered a hard-fought straight set defeat to second seed Diego Schwartzman at the European Open in Antwerp on Thursday. After a day off, he faced Schwartzman for the first time, but it was the Argentine who found the momentum in a tight encounter to come through 6-4, 7-6 in 2 hours and 13 minutes.
Wildcard Murray came through an epic first-round contest against America Francis Tiafoe, which lasted almost 4 hours after 3 tie-break sets. Back to the scene of this last singles title in 2019, Murray started much the better as well, baffling Schwartzman by varying the pace of his shot and maintaining excellent length with his ground strokes to open up a 4-1 lead. But Schwartzman, who had the luxury of a first-round bye on Tuesday, began to get used to the court conditions, and he was soon coming out on top in the territorial battle. The world number 13 turned the set around, going from a breakdown to a breakup, before serving it out after 55 minutes of play, much to the amazement of Murray. Schwartzman looked the greater threat early in the second set, and his aggressive approach was rewarded with a break of serve in the 5th game. Despite appearing fatigued, Murray summoned upon all his battling qualities to strike back 3 games later for 4-4 as he enjoyed his own little purple patch. The Scots put out a clutch first serve ace to save it, but after pushing his forehead return long, the second seed came through on his second match point to stay on course for his 5th career ATP title. Murray may have dropped to 172 as a result of the points finally coming off from his triumph in Belgium, which came less than a year after his hip resurfacing surgery. He will now prepare for the ST Bank Open in Vienna, which begins next Monday, and November's Stockholm Open. Murray could also play at the Rolex Paris Masters in between, possibly as a wild card or even as a qualifier.
Away from that, the home grounds of Medeama, Dreams FC and Legon Cities have been rejected following a final round of inspection of venues by the club licensing board ahead of the start of the new Ghana Premier League season. Now, Medeama's Akon Park, Dreams FC's Theatre of Dreams in Dew and Legon City's Elwok Stadium have all been deemed not fit to host GPL matches.
The Ghana Football Association Club Licensing Board has rejected the Theatre of Dreams Park in Dew to host the Ghana Premier League game following its final inspection. The Club Licensing Board has ordered the club affiliated to the President of the Football Association to play their home games at the Accra Sports Stadium until the club is able to fix the defect established during their inspection. The club selected the Accra Sports Stadium as their alternative venue for the season and will now join a host of clubs already choosing the venue for the league's commencement. The latest decision means the three clubs must play home matches in their approved alternative venues when the league starts on October 29, 2021. They will then have until November 15 to fix all defects in their home stadia before it is approved to host games. Mediama have earmarked the Cape Coast Stadium as their alternative venue, while Dreams FC and Legon Cities have opted for the Accra Sports Stadium. The club licensing committee released its initial decision on September 28, in which the venues of 15 clubs were conditionally rejected. The club licensing board then gave the clubs up to 18th October to fix all defects for a second and final round of inspection before the start of the league. The 18 Ghana Premier clubs were made to submit 2 venues each, a primary venue and an alternative venue to be inspected and approved for use for the 2021-2022 season.
On to some entertainment news now. The Ghana Police Service has denied musician Samuel Edu Frimpong, popularly known as medical bail, after several police inquiry bail attempts. This follows a video he shared on social media flaunting a gun, which led to his arrest on Thursday, October 21st, 2021.
Few hours after his confidant Shatawale was given a week remand, musician Samuel Edu Frimpong, known in showbiz as Medical, has also been arrested by the police. Medical's arrest occurred on Thursday, October 21st, 2021, after he shared a video of himself brandishing a gun, which was not taken lightly by the Ghana Police Service, hence taking action. After his arrest, the Omuada hitmaker put in all efforts but was denied police bail inquiry. According to reports of an Accra-based TV, it was confirmed Medical, alongside his wife, Fela McCaffrey, was spotted going in and out of the premise of the Accra Regional Charge Office, and according to the police, the information of the musician getting arrested for displaying gun was not a fallacy. The rapper's arrest and restraints come shortly after he went to support his fellow musician and friend Shatawale, who had been arraigned before an Accra Circuit Court for feigning stand, as Medical is next to appear in court today, October 22nd, 2021.
And that is all for tonight on the evening news on Adoa TV. For more news, log on to our website, www.adoanewsonline.com. Follow us on Facebook at Adoa TV Ghana. My name is Benedicta Dodu. The evening news is brought to you by Adoatv Roofing Sheet and Cookware, Blue City Ties and Accessories, and Vena Mineral Water. Have you had your free breast screening yet? If not, walk into any of Sonotech's branches at Osu, West Hills Mall, or the Atema branch for your free breast screening. Remember, they are also giving out discounts on all breast ultrasound, that is 50%, and then 20% off mammograms. Make sure you enjoy that as well during this month of October. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.